Hello students. Today we are going to begin with the seventh chapter, Glimpses of India. This chapter has actually been divided into three parts. The first part is A Baker from Goa. This is written by Lucio Rodriguez. Here in the first part, it is actually a pen portrait. Pen portrait means an informal description of the attitudes and lifestyle of the people. It is a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker, or they also called him padder, who still has an important place in the Goan culture. Actually, the Portuguese have left India, but still the baker is there and it still holds an important place in the Goan culture. The second part is named Kurg, and it is a pen portrait of a coffee country famous for its rainforests and spices. The third part is Tea from Assam. This is written by Arup Kumar Datta, and this is about the tea plantations in Assam. So let us begin with the first part of the chapter, A Baker from Goa. Now remember here, a baker from Goa revolves around the relevance of a baker in the Goan culture. Goan means culture of Goa, which dates back to the time when Portuguese ruled over the city of Goa. You know, the Britishers ruled over us, the French also were there, the Portuguese means people from Portugal, Portugal is in Europe, they also ruled over us. So they ruled over the city of Goa. The Portuguese may have left, but the bread makers continue to have an inevitable stature. You know, the Britishers have left, but a lot of impact of their culture, their style is still there. Similarly, here also the Portuguese have left, but still there is some mark that is left that they were there and some of their cultures and traditions are still prevalent. In this story, the author recalls his childhood days and their excitement on seeing the baker. They were enthusiastic to the point that they would run to him as soon as they woke up. Actually, they were woken up by the baker himself when he used to come to sell the bread, loaves of bread, etc. And how he used to make a jingle sound. That was these jingles were attached to a stick that he used to create a sound or a thud, and they used to wake up and they used to run to him without even brushing their teeth. So in this way, let us discuss what actually happened in this chapter and what is the description given about the baker. So this is a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker who still has an important place in his society. And the information given is that he still has an important place in the society. That means people still buy bread and they like bread, they eat bread. Our elders are often reminiscent nostalgically. That means the author is telling about his elders, that they are thinking about the good old days of Portuguese who were ruling Goa, that how good the time was. And thinking, reminiscing means thinking nostalgically, fondly of the past, going into that state of nostalgia where they have uh, lived and they are thinking about it. So about those good old Portuguese days, and they call it good old because there is something good about it. They like it very much. What is that? The Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. So the famous loaves, you know, one loaf of a bread is one long big piece of bread. We get a whole bread packet, but that has been cut into slices. Suppose that loaf of bread is not cut into slices. This is one loaf. So now you can get some idea. those eaters of loaves might have vanished. That means maybe those people who used to like and eat a lot of bread, they have gone away, but the makers are still there. That means the makers, the bakers who bake these items, the bakery items, the loaf of bread, they are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers. Now, who are the mixers? Mixers are these people who are actually mixing the bread, kneading the bread. So these persons who are kneading the flour and then making a dough, they are known as the mixers. The molders. Molders are the persons giving bread a particular shape. And those who bake the loaves, they are still there. They are still baking the bread. Those age old, time tested furnaces still exist. And you know where the bread is to be baked? Furnaces. Furnaces means a kind of, you can say, bhatti, where we bake something. So these old age, that means these very old and time tested, that means they have been used for a very long time. So time tested furnaces or hearth are still existing. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. This line means that still in Goa bread is being baked. The thud is the light but heavy sound, dull, heavy sound, and jingle. Jingle, you know, as these jingling bells are there to call people to buy bread. So the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo. Bamboo stick, you know, you all know bamboo stick, bamboo is a tree, and these jingling bells are attached to it so that it can be thud and it can be moved, and the sound that is created calls the people to buy the bread. Heralding. Heralding means announcing his arrival. So he is not actually shouting, but his bamboo stick is making a thud, and the jingling bells are creating a sound which calls the people that the bread seller has arrived and you can buy the bread. And his announcement or his arrival happens in the morning, obviously early in the morning when you require bread, can still be heard in some places. So these bakers, though they are not so much in number, but still they can be seen or heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive. Yes, their parents who used to bake cake or the bread in those times, they are not yet alive, but their sons are still carrying on that business, still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as pedder in Goa, and according to their traditional name, earlier name, they are still called as pedder, or you can say baker in Goa. Now, during our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. Why friend, companion, and guide? We used to like him a lot. Early in the morning. He used to come to sell the bread, and in this way, he was our companion. He used to come at least twice a day. Now, what is the reason that he used to come twice a day? Does he comes twice for selling the bread? No. Once when he set out in the morning on his selling round. Once when he is going to sell the bread, then he meets us, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. So here we get an information that he sells the bread in a very huge basket which he keeps on his head. The jingling thud. The jingling thud means the jingling sound that is heard, and the thud, as I said, is a dull, heavy sound of his bamboo stick woke us up from sleep. Actually, we were not woken by alarm clock or anything, but actually it was this sound that used to woke us up. And we ran to meet and greet him, and we were so excited about the sweet bread that we used to go and we used to meet and greet him. Why was it so? Was it for the love of the loaf? Now he's saying that no, it is not for the love of the loaf of bread or the piece of bread. No, the loaves were bought by some Pasquine or Bastine. Now, who are these Pasquines or Bastines? They are actually the surnames given to some group of people. We can call that the maid servants were the ones who used to come to take the loaves of breads. Now here we can categorize into two things. There are two kinds of breads here. The big loaf of bread is taken or bought by the maid servants of the house, that you can call Pasquine or Bastine. You know, these are the surnames or these are the family groups of those times. And the small bread rings were there. The children usually liked and preferred that one very much, and they used to love to eat them. The loaves were bought by the Pasquine or Bastine, the maid servant of the house. What we longed for, that means what we wanted and desired for, were those bread bangles. So we can see a small bangle shape of bread that they used to sell, which we chose carefully, that this one or that one. So this was our morning pastime. We just loved this very much. And sometimes it was sweet bread of special make also. And these bread rings were sometimes sweet also, because they were specially made. So that actually the children were very much fond of these bread bangles, and they used to eat these bread bangles early in the morning by carefully sorting them and buying them. The baker made his musical entry on the scene with the jang jang. You know, jang jang is the sound of this jingle bells, sound of his specially made bamboo staff. Staff means stick, bamboo stick. And these bells were joined or made connected with it, so that as soon as he would make a thud sound with this bamboo stick, the jang jang of the bells could be heard and people can come to buy. One hand supported the basket on his head. So one hand is obviously supporting the big basket of the bread loaves on his head, and the other banged the bamboo. Obviously, the other is calling the people by banging the bamboo on the ground. He would greet the lady of the house, and he is very courteous also. He is greeting the lady, good morning, and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. And then this bamboo stick is not very big. So he used to take a support for his basket on the vertical bamboo. And from there, their breads were chosen. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke. Now, he was not welcoming us first. So, with a little disapproval, he used to keep us aside, that let the elders buy the bread first. So, it is a mild rebuke, not a big scolding. Rebuke is actually scolding or a disapproval, but it is a mild one, just with a gesture that be aside, let the others elders buy the, or the ladies buy the loaves of bread first, and the loaves would be delivered to the servant, and the loaves were actually taken by the servant of the house. But we would not give up. That means, not giving up means we would continue to be there until we get the bread bangles. We would climb a bench or the parapet, because we also want to see what is there in the basket, and we just wanted to to enjoy the sight of these bread. And so we used to climb a bench to see inside the basket, or a parapet. Parapet is some kind of a support. Some support, we can also call it a railing or a protective wall. And we used to peep inside, look into the basket. Somehow I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. And when fresh bread is made and it is there for selling, even if you see the samosas are being sold or something else, it gives a fragrance of itself. So here he could still remember the typical fragrance of the bread pieces or loaves. Loaves for the elders and the bangles for the children. Loaves were bought by the elders and they were taken inside the house by the maidservant, and the bangles were bought by the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths properly. And we were so fond of eating the bread that as soon as we were woken up by the jingling sound of the bamboo, we rushed to the baker or the padder who was selling, and we used to buy it and eat it. We won't even care to brush our teeth or even wash our mouth properly. And he's giving some explanation here. And why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? They used to brush with the mango leaves. And why was it necessary at all? Actually, is it necessary to brush the teeth? What is the excuse? Otherwise, we know that it is very necessary. But still, what is the author saying? The tiger never brushed his teeth. So why should we? Now, these are some very humorous excuses that can be given. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. And these are the children. So they are saying that it's not required to brush the teeth. You can just eat the bread and then you have some nice hot tea, and yes, your teeth will become clean. So what is the requirement? And what is the comparison? Does the tiger ever brush his teeth? He never. So why should we? So you can see here how these children used to enjoy what their lifestyle was in those times, and how they enjoyed the bread rings, eating the sweet bread rings early in the morning without even brushing their teeth. Now we carry on with the chapter. Marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the bowl. Now, how these breads are so important and interwoven in the culture of these people, that has been given here. That even in as a part of marriage gifts also, these sweet bread, especially known as bowl, B-O-L, bowl, just as a party or a feast loses its charm without bread. So in those times, there was no party which could be held without a bread. And even in marriages, the gifts that were given along with the other gifts were sweet bread known as the bowl. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. And here he is telling about that how in the lifestyle of the people, the baker was very important. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. Now, these are the traditions which were there in the times of Portuguese, and some of them are still carrying on. So, he is telling us that the lady of the house would prepare sandwiches, and now sandwiches are again prepared by using bread on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. This is also a custom there, and again you see that bread has been used here. Cakes and bolenhas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. And again, especially on the time of Christmas, the cakes are very important. And bolhennas, actually it is another name for coconut cookies, are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. So you know that cakes and cookies and all these items are all prepared in a bakery. So how important has a baker become for their life? Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace, the furnace, the hearth, the bhatti in the village is absolutely essential. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress Now, what kind of a dress he used to wear? You know, as a chef, we know there is some cap, long cap, and all that. So, what was his peculiar dress in those times? This dress was actually known as kabai. So, kabai was the name of his dress. It was a single piece of long frock reaching down to the knees. Usually, we know that the male doesn't wear a frock, but these bakers has this kind of dressing which they wear, and now you can date back that this could come from the Portuguese culture from Portugal, that they used to wear a long frock till their knees. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a t-shirt and trousers. Now, kabai was originally worn when their parents were there and Portuguese were all were actually there. But later on, as the time changed, during the time of the author, the lifestyle, the attires of these people changed, and they started wearing a t-shirt and trouser, which were shorter than full length. And you know, sometimes trousers are of short length also, not of full length, short trousers. In length, they are short. Once and longer than half pants. So, what is the length of this? Longer than half pants, but shorter than full pants. You would have seen, I think, Raj Kapoor also wearing those short kind of pants sometimes. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a padder. So if somebody now wears such kind of a dress, a pant especially, going below the knees, then he's commented as he's wearing or dressed like a padder. The baker usually collects his bills. Now, what is collecting the bills? When you provide them the bread every day, you have to now collect money also back. And that is collected monthly at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. And how they didn't carry a notebook or a notepad and the pen, etc. It was some wall in pencil they used to record it. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in those days because everybody is buying bread, and even whether it is the late elders or the youngers, everybody is eating, and it is a very important part of every occasion. So yes, it provided profit to the bakers. The baker and his family never starved. That means they were earning well and they were prosperous. He, his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. So, bakers and their families, the servants, etc., were always happy because their business was going on very well and they were rich. Their plump physique, plump means pleasantly fat body, because they are from belonging from a class where they have enough to eat and enough of money. So there's a plump physique there, was an open testimony to this. That means they had money, that was seen by their physique, that they were a little fat. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like appearance is easily compared to a baker. So again, the same thing that have you seen the baker's pictures? If you see on the net or anywhere, a big stomach is normally seen along with the white cap. That he is typically called as a baker. So this kind of an appearance is actually the appearance of a jackfruit. An open testimony means public statement about the character and the quality, that this is a testimony, this is a proof that you are from a well-known family and from a well-to-do family. Even today, any person with a jackfruit kind of an appearance obviously is mocked at, that he is a baker. So here we understand how bakers have been very important in the life of these people, and how and what kind of comments are also passed here. And let us come now to the end of this part. I hope you will have understood it, Please revise it and find the answers. This is a very important exercise and I just want you to do this.